You know, what if everything we think we know about loss is just wrong? Today, we're diving into a story that completely flips that idea on its head. It's called The Mirrors of Absence, and it offers a pretty radical new way to understand one of the toughest parts of being human. So, the whole thing kicks off with this really universal question, one I think every single one of us has to ask at some point. How do we love what's gone, right? How do you keep that connection alive with someone who isn't physically here anymore? And the answer this fictional manuscript gives, it's pretty out there. It suggests that maybe the problem isn't the loss. The problem is the language we use to talk about it, to even think about it. The argument is that what we really need is a whole new grammar for grief. Okay, so let's start our journey into this new grammar. It all begins with a search for something that feels like it's gone forever. All right, so first we meet our main character. Her name is Valentine, and she is just completely lost. Her mother's funeral has just happened, and she's stuck in that conventional story of grief we all know so well. You know, just wandering around, aimless. It's like she's the one haunting her own life. But then she stumbles upon this really weird ad in a newspaper. Get this, it says, "For the woman who seeks what she has lost but never possessed, furnished rooms, no mirrors save one." So strange, right? It hints that what she's lost is way more complicated than just a death. And of course, this ad leads her to this mysterious house where, well, let's just say the rules of reality get a little bent. And it's inside this house that Valentine finds the core idea of the whole manuscript, and it is a total mind-bender. It's called The Mirror of Absence. Now, this is no ordinary mirror. When Valentine looks into it, she doesn't see herself. No reflection. Instead, the manuscript says it shows her what's absent. The spaces between things, the silence that used to hold someone's voice. It's wild. Okay, let's really break this down. A regular mirror, right? It shows you what is here. It confirms your presence. But this mirror of absence, it does the exact opposite. It shows you the shape of what's missing. So it doesn't show you your loved one. It shows you the space they used to take up in the world. It actually makes their absence feel like a real tangible thing. The manuscript has a name for this, negative space. And the idea is that absence isn't just emptiness. It's not a void. It's a presence of its own. It's that tangible silence where a laugh used to be, or the way a room feels different because a certain person isn't in it. The mirror is basically teaching Valentine to see this negative space, to see how her mother's presence literally shaped the architecture of her world. So, this idea of negative space, it's not just a cool metaphor. It becomes the foundation for a whole new language, a new way to structure our thoughts, a new grammar of loss. As Valentine is sitting in this strange house, she starts writing. And this is where she figures out the central idea of the manuscript, and it's this: death is not an ending, but a change in grammar. Think about that. It's not a period at the end of the sentence. It's just a shift in how the story is being told. And this slide breaks it down perfectly. So step one is the old grammar. That's the past tense we all use. It's about possession. I had a mother. And when you talk like that, loss just feels like a full stop, right? The story's over. But then you get to step three, the new grammar. This is all about continuation. It's the idea that love becomes a practice. The love wasn't just in the person, it was in the space you created together. And that space, it keeps existing. And when you start using this new grammar, grief completely changes. It stops being just about mourning the person who's gone. It actually becomes a new way of seeing. It's this deep feeling, almost a regret, that you never truly saw or appreciated that negative space, the incredible way their presence shaped your world while they were right there. Okay, so what does Valentine do with this massive insight? Well, it doesn't just stay as some personal epiphany. It actually evolves into a real skill she can use. Her journey is all about becoming what the book calls a translator. She starts by learning this language of absence. She even visits a place called the Museum of Almost, which is full of relationships that never happened, and finds a map of all human sorrow. It's intense, but what starts as her own personal quest turns into this mission to help other people translate their own grief, these feelings that seem impossible to put into words. And here's the key part for all of us. The manuscript is saying this isn't some special power only Valentine has. The idea is that anyone can learn to be a translator. We can all learn to help ourselves and each other find the words for those losses that our culture just doesn't have a vocabulary for. So all of this leads to one final really powerful shift.
It's about moving away from this idea of love as something fragile, something you can lose, and towards something way, way more resilient.
And you can see that shift so clearly here. On one side, you have love as possession. That's how we usually think of it, right? A feeling we have, something that can be lost. It's all past tense. But on the other side, you have love as a practice. This reframes love as something we do, an ongoing choice to create a space for someone else. And that choice, that space, well, death can't touch it.
The manuscript says it just perfectly. Love is not something we feel, but something we agree to. Death cannot take this choice away, because the space, once created, exists independently of the people who created it. That shared space you built together, it becomes a permanent fixture in the architecture of the world. It's still there.
And that leaves us with this final, really provocative question that just flips everything on its head. What if grief isn't some affliction we have to be cured of? What if it's not an illness we have to get over? What if it's actually a skill? A deep human skill that we can learn and develop? A new way to see the world, a new way to remember, and a new way to keep on loving.